friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sitting outside on my patio. It's a pretty nice evening here in Kansas, so I thought I'd sit out here while I talk to you guys. Today I'm going to talk about 12 decluttering mistakes to avoid. Number 1 is decluttering for the sake of decluttering. Decluttering just to get rid of stuff can seem really fun because it's exciting and you can kind of get a high from cleaning everything out. But if you're not really being intentional about it, this can cause you some grief and regret later on. So not just doing it for the sake of decluttering. You need to have a purpose and a reason and be thoughtful as you go along so you don't have any regrets. The second mistake is decluttering other people's stuff. I am trying to become more of a minimalist, but the rest of my family is not, and I have helped them declutter, but I don't ever go behind their backs and declutter their stuff. And if there's stuff that I'm thinking about getting rid of, that it's kind of a family item or something we all use, like some of the kitchen stuff, I will ask my husband or my sons so that they are on board with it too. But don't go behind their back and declutter. That can cause resentment, and that can actually stall everyone's progress if you've broken the trust with decluttering. And then also when they can't find something, they'll think that you just decluttered it. That's happened at my house before, but they usually just don't put it away where it goes. The third mistake is thinking that you're going to declutter one time and that's going to be the end of it and you'll be done. You just got to get through it one time. I have been decluttering for a couple of years, and it is an ongoing process that takes time and it takes patience, and if you want to keep it up, it's an ongoing process to not accumulate more clutter. The fourth decluttering mistake is trying to organize first. Organizing your clutter just does not make any sense. You need to declutter each space separately and then organize it after you're done. The fifth decluttering mistake is just decluttering to make room so you can go buy more stuff. That kind of defeats the purpose of decluttering and trying to minimize if you're just going to bring more stuff in. And I know I've been kind of guilty of this, especially when it comes to clothes. I got rid of a lot and then I found myself buying more because I had the room in my closet. And I'm really trying hard to put a stop to that. So we're not just going to declutter so we can buy more, because then we're just spinning our wheels and we're not making any progress. The sixth decluttering mistake is keeping items out of guilt. Sometimes we can keep items that someone's given us because we feel guilty, but once they've given you a gift or something, then it's yours to do what you want with it. So you don't need to feel guilty about that. Or you might feel guilty because you spent a lot of money on it. Or you might feel guilty because you wasted money. So you just need to let that go and get rid of it and not have to think about that guilt anymore. It's getting kind of windy here. The seventh decluttering mistake is not being honest with yourself. Like when you're trying to go room by room and area that need decluttering, you got to be honest with yourself and not pretend like you're someone that you're not. And just be really honest if you use things, if you don't use them, if you will ever use them, if you like it, if you don't like it. And sometimes things are just better to declutter and just let go and move on. The eighth decluttering mistake is keeping fantasy self items. Now, if you don't know what a fantasy self is, it's the way you think of yourself and what you want to be. I, for one, stopped buying fantasy self clothing items. I'm very short, so I don't buy long maxi dresses because those don't look good on me and those do not fit me. That would be a fantasy self. A lot of times you see these in ads or friends or other people, and you think, yeah, that could be me if I just bought this item. So you got to let those items go. And I might do a whole video on this because this is a very good topic they can really go in depth about, and it relates back to being honest with yourself. The 9th decluttering mistake is keeping the what if items. You could keep everything in your house if you just what if. What if I need this? What if I need that? What if I go here? What if I do this? You got to be really honest with yourself and think about it from a practical standpoint, and if you've needed it in the past. So don't keep the what ifs. Now, I'm not saying to get rid of the things that you do use and you do need, but there's a lot of things we can just let go of and just use what we have, or make do with something else that you can use as dual purpose. So let go of the what ifs. The 10th decluttering mistake is starting with sentimental items. Sentimental items are often the hardest. And I told you I've been decluttering and minimizing for a couple of years, and I have really just started tackling my sentimental. I've made a lot of progress and I've gotten rid of almost everything, and it definitely is important to do this last because it helps you build up your decluttering muscles, and it really helps you realize what really matters. And most of the time with sentimental items, it's really the memory attached to it. And when you're starting your decluttering journey, you don't often realize that at the beginning. So the sentimental items I had were from my childhood, and I actually just took pictures of them to have on my phone, and then I decluttered them. Some of them I had to throw in the trash, they were ruined, and then some I donated. But I actually like it better that I can see a picture of it on my phone and remember the memories, instead of being in a tote in my basement that I never saw. So, like I said, it's the hardest, and I recommend saving that for the end of your journey. And you can also think about those items over time and make a good decision, and not a rush decision that you might make with some other things in your house that you really don't care about, and you're just deciding if you want to keep it or not. The 11th mistake is thinking you're going to do this all at once, all in one day. Decluttering is definitely a process, and I recommend breaking your decluttering up into chunks of time or areas of your house, because there's no way, unless you might be able to do it all at once if you lived in a small home or apartment and you were single. But if you're married and you've been married for a while and you have kids, you guys more than likely have a lot of stuff like I did. So I recommend breaking it up into small sections of your house and doing one area at a time. And you don't have to do it all back to back. Do an area for, work on it for a while and then take a break and then do the next area. That way you never get burnt out, and you can just keep going along your journey and taking your time. And the last mistake not to make is keeping those items for someday. Like keeping things for good, like, oh, someday I'm going to wear that. Someday I'm going to use those dishes. Someday I'm going to put this decoration up. Someday. It's like, if you're not using it now, then why would you keep it? Because someday usually never comes, and you've been storing these someday items for a long time and you never use them. So I've seen in a lot of my decluttering groups that I'm in, people ask what to do with their family's china, and people either get rid of them or they start using them, because what good is it just sitting in the cupboard waiting for someday or special occasions? Like, use it or lose it. So, all right, well, I think that sums up today's video. That's the top 12 decluttering mistakes to avoid. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and let me know, what are some mistakes you've made along your decluttering journey? If you like this video, please consider subscribing and hit the notification bell. Thank you. Have a great day.